Hello artists, we're going to do another follow along. This one is for drawing two different shapes. One of them is going to be a cylinder or round shape, and the other is to do a 3D pyramid shape. So we're going to start off, make sure you have your pencil, some white paper, an eraser, and if you want a ruler or some other folded paper to work as a straight edge. Not required, but you might want that. So first of all, with a cylinder, being a round shape, it's a little bit trickier than a box. There are some straight lines and there are some lines that should not be straight. What I will often see, the most common thing I will see, you don't have to draw this yet, is when a student wants to draw a cylinder, they will draw a circle for the top, two lines for the sides, and then a bottom. This is not correct. It gives you the right idea, but there's a much better way of doing it. The only time you're going to see the top of a cylinder be a perfect circle is if you're looking straight at it. When we normally look at something like this, we're seeing it where it's on the side. And if you look at the top of this, even though in your mind you know it's a circle, what it looks like on the side is an oval. So we're going to start off, now you draw with me, with an oval shape. So rounded, but a little bit flat, like a pancake. There we go. When you go to draw the sides, what you want to make sure is that you have the side of the cylinder right on the very edge of that oval. You don't want, so here's another no-no, here's a don't do this. You don't want to draw the sides coming in. You should not have little corners here. So the best way I do to remember it is I think of following the top of the oval, and when I get toward the edge, let me scoot so you can see it. When I get to the edge, I just go straight down off the side. Then you're gonna do the same thing to the other side. Start at the top, follow, 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 and fall down. And those should be about the same. Now the last part is the part that probably messes up the most people. You know that a cylinder has a flat bottom because it sits there and it does not roll. But when you look at the bottom of a cylinder, see if I can get close enough for you, the bottom actually makes a curved shape. This is how it shows that it is a circle shape, that it's rounded. We know it's a circle, but we're not going to see it. So the easiest way to remember is the bottom part should make a curve just like the top of this. So what you got to be careful of, do not make it flat. Incorrect. But be careful not to make it too big. That's just silly. You want to connect these two lines with a curve that matches your cylinder, matches the top. So a curve here and a curve here. Pretty simple. So now we're going to do some shading. Shading on a cylinder is a little bit trickier than a box. Since a box has flat sides, each side can be the same kind of shade, the same kind of gray. But with a cylinder, since it's rounded, the lighting kind of changes. This one's not so good because it's shiny, but you kind of get an idea. It's lighter in one area, and then as you go around, it starts to get darker. So what we're going to do is we're going to start on the side, and we're going to hold our pencil in the middle and do some light shading. Light, light, light. Very, very light. Then we're going to leave a space to be white, and we're going to start again, also going really lightly. And then as you start going towards the edge, you're going to start pressing down a little bit harder So you start lightly, and then you start getting a little bit darker, and a little bit darker, and really dark. I'm going to go clean up toward the edge to make sure it all matches. Make sure this all matches. And then we'll do some blending. So the light side, we just got to smooth that out a little bit. Then on the darker side, start with the lighter area and work your way toward the edge. Don't worry if you go outside the lines. Remember, pencil can erase. Just like that. All right. Now, just like with boxes, you can do all sorts of different sizes for this. So you can do very thin and tall. Oh, that's a little too curvy, Miss Joan. Yeah, that's better. Same thing, light, skip, and then getting darker. And you can also do wide ones. Really wide, oval. Short, short, and a bottom. Light shading, light shading. To dark. Ta-da! Now, I'm going to show you something else. I'm going to make another cylinder. So remember, you only have to pick 2 of these to draw. I'm going to draw another cylinder, just like the first one. But now I'm going to do a little different shading. A cylinder like this means that the light is coming straight towards it. Just like this one, you have this bright spot because the light from the window is coming in and hitting the cylinder. But sometimes you might see it from a different angle. So for me, when I'm looking at the cylinder, the lightest side is not facing me. So there's another way to shade a cylinder. Both of them will be correct. So this one went from light in the middle to getting darker toward the edges. This one, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to have a spot that is darker and then as we go to the edges, it'll start getting a little lighter. Until on the very edge, it's almost white. Both of these ways of shading are correct. You'll always have some spot in the middle that's either light or dark, and then it slowly changes towards the edges. That looks better. Ta-da! Perfect. Now we're going to move right on to our next shape. This one doesn't have quite as many variations as the box and the cylinder. We're going to make a pyramid shape. This one's pretty simple. Start off with a straight line. And then you're going to do 2 bottom lines. It's going to look just like you starting a box with that flat kind of arrow. But instead of doing all the sides like a box, now we're just going to connect the top, down, and down. We're going to do very, very light shading on one side and a little bit darker on the other. And there you go. Now, you can do other ones that are tall or short, so pick one of them that you'd like. I'll do both of them, but you only need to pick one of the others. We'll do a tall one and a shorty. So for the tall one, short sides. For the shorty, long sides. Just don't go too high. It shouldn't be any higher than this line. Be careful of that. Connect from the top. Connect from the top. If you make these lines too high, then you end up making a totally different shape. Light shading, dark shading. It's too low for me. And dark shading. And blend it, 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 and blend it. There you go. So there's our cylinders, there's our pyramids, and we're going to move on to some other shapes in another video.